Sorry, I have questions.
I have a list of questions.
I don't need my glasses. So, how many is everyone? I know. Has anyone seen the show yet? Here, right? Or no, you've seen the show before in another place. Okay, but you've seen it here. Okay. So I can tell you tonight you are in for something extraordinary with this young man's performance. It has been interesting, you know, a lot of people when we announced the show, who knew the show, previous prior productions, how is that going to work on the Muny stage? And one of the things that we've been working on artistically that we've done season over season is sort of shows that are more and more intimate and personal and revelatory, because that's sort of where contemporary musical theater is really living right now, along with other things, but it is certainly a voice or a branch. How about that? Gotcha.
It was good. It was good.
And so people, when we announced it, and I knew, and we certainly saw this with Come From Away, the stage now supports anything because of our new lighting system and all the design features we can have. And you will see in tonight's production, you know, we have standard on our sides, our two LEDs, and our upstage LED screen is a sort of a normal part of our storytelling, how we create our worlds. And we've added some for this production because of the ideas and the themes of Evan and his journey and the world that young people are living in right now. They're growing up with this as just a third hand. And we're all dealing as, what are the consequences? What is the reality of that? What does it bring? What does it take? All of those things. So anyway, it is a very different journey, and the response that we have had in the first two nights of the show here at the Muny has been unlike anything I've seen. The intensity of the listening of the audience, the trust of the artist, the trust of the storytelling, the trust of the Muny, but the deeply personal connection that so many in the audience feel to one or more of the characters on the stage and the challenges they are facing. And all of it is grounded in the astounding performance of this young man. And I don't use the word astounding lightly or recklessly. It is a performance that is not only so accomplished and rich and robust, but each night surprising. So I have so many questions. Let's start with the basics. Will you share with us where you were born, where you grew up, your sort of journey, musical theater journey that got you here?
Yeah, I was born in rural Minnesota, about an hour outside of Minneapolis. My parents are from LA, and my dad was in the Air Force. They were in Germany for a while, and they were like, where do we want to have kids? And they were like, Minnesota. And so they moved to Minnesota and had me and my sister. My sister's 5 years older than I am, and she did a lot of community theater. I wasn't a theater kid when I was little, but she was, and I grew up just watching her shows. And I loved it. Every time I watched her perform, I never had the urge to do it myself. It was more of, I just enjoyed watching her do it. Yeah. But I watched her do like 10 shows, like Once Upon a Mattress, The Christmas Carol, the Putnam County Spelling Bee. I watched her do so much. And then one day she went to this summer camp in Los Angeles called Teenage Drama Workshop. It's at California University, Northridge. And I got to go there and just like be there with her for 2 months while she did that. And I saw just how awesome a theater community could be and how accepting and how fun people are.
It's true.
It's
we
true.
Are fun.
Yeah, we are fun people.
Yeah. Our people are fun.
And I was like, I want to try that. And so I wasn't old enough yet to be a part of that program, but I waited 2 years, and that love stirred and boiled and grew until I got to do my first musical there, which was Beauty and the Beast, and I was LeFou. And it was great.
I can see that.
Yeah. It was so fun. It was so fun, and I'm glad that they trusted me with that role. But I had a great time, and there's nothing like being on stage. and having, everyone listen to you tell a story. I mean, that's what we do. We just tell a story. And I got addicted to telling stories and playing pretend, as my Instagram says. My handle is, my name is Michael, and I play pretend, which is the longest Instagram handle I've ever seen, but I think it's funny.
And so high school then led you to UMich, right?
Yes, yeah. I went to a performing arts high school in Minnesota called the Performing Institute of Minnesota, where I was able to do so many shows, and which really prepped me to audition for, most people I feel like have to take audition classes and stuff to audition for colleges, but I was lucky. That's kind of what my school was. And so I got to train for auditioning for college there, and I auditioned for 5 colleges because I didn't know about the college audition process. Most people audition for 20 schools, or, but I only auditioned for 5 because I was like, well, I don't know. I'm just
one of them.
Exactly. I must get into one of them, but I didn't. I didn't get any of them, except I got waitlisted at Michigan, and I found out during the pandemic that I got in, and I was amazing. I was the only person in my class that got off the wait list, and so it was an honor and destiny, if you will. It was really amazing, and my time there was great. I mean, it was a lot of growing pains, just because college it's a tough time to be a human. But I learned a lot, and the connections and the friends I made are invaluable. And
so you graduated in 24,
yeah. I graduated 2 years.
If you're keeping track, that's not that long ago.
Yeah, I was a year or 2 ago. And then right after that, I got the Dear Evan Hansen tour. I submitted to an open call on Actors Access, and I just got through the rounds, and I got the role, which was really exciting, and a dream come true, because, I mean, who doesn't want to play that role? And I've my whole life struggled with mental health, so it's a role that means a lot to me, and a story that means a lot to me, and I was really happy to be able to tell that story to 86 different cities over 8 months. It was a hard schedule, but I mean, it was worth it. Every city we went to, people were so grateful, and I was grateful to be able to share that with them. It's cathartic for me to be able to tell this story.
What's the most common thing people at stage doors say to you or have said to you?
It's like, how do you sing through all those tears? that's the most thing I get. But it's a lot of just gratitude, and I feel it back. I feel it right back. I'm grateful that people come and watch, because if there wasn't an audience, I wouldn't be doing what I do. And
do they share stories of themselves?
Absolutely. We had a lot of parents. It was mostly parents that came up after the shows saying that. I got one parent one time, which made me cry. It was like, they were like, I realized while watching the show that my kid, like, this could be my kid, and I'm going to go home right now, and I'm going to talk to my kid. And I was like, the fact that this started that conversation could have saved someone's life.
I had someone in the theater last night who came up to me after the show, a patron who I don't know, and he just walked up to me and he stared at me, and he was like, "Thank you." He's like, "Oh, blah blah blah," and he was like, grabbed me and he was like, "No, thank you for this show."
Yeah.
It has such a powerful connection to its audience, and you will feel that tonight sitting there. The Muny feels unlike the Muny usually does, which is so exciting. One of the things that I have here is in terms of casting, and we're really proud of our tradition of, we're known as a place where emerging talent appears and bright young talents and everything. But I generally have, it's not a rule, but a guideline is if somebody has done the tour, and particularly if the tour has paid the Fox, I'm not likely to cast them, just because St. Louis would have seen them before, and I want a variety. And you were not in the tour that paid the Fox,
right?
And our director, Rob Ruggiero, had seen you on your tour.
Yeah.
And he had called me. He said, "I really want us to look at this young man." And Rob's not moved by anybody. So I mean that, like, he's very, he's sort of there. Sorry, Rob. But he was so passionate, and to your great credit, even though you had done the part, you were willing to do a work session with Rob.
Yeah.
To see if there was a sense, because every director wants to do their own production, and you'd been doing that, and you were like, "Sure, let's do it," and your Rob did that. So I'm really intrigued by now. Tonight will be your 3rd performance, but you've gone through the process here. What, if anything, have you learned more about the character in this production, or what has that been like, sort of putting on a new set of clothing and something you know?
Totally. It's what's really nice is in this production, Rob has allowed me to slow down, and in the tour, they literally told me I needed to speed through the dialogue, because I think when a tour runs for, or a show is running for that long, they lose trust that people are listening, and they want to get through beats as fast as they can. And here, Rob was like, no, trust the script and trust that the beats are good. And so I've been able to slow down and actually think about everything that I'm saying. And also, I don't have to do as much of the physical anxiety that I did on tour, because that's just, for me, that isn't authentic to me and how I feel anxiety. You know, I feel anxiety in my head. And it's not something that everyone sees. And he says it, Evan says, he says he's learned to slam on the brakes. Like he's learned to make it so people don't see all of that. You know, only when it gets out of control do people see it. And that's how I feel about my anxiety, is, you know, I've learned to control it until I can't anymore. And that was really fun to explore in this production, because when it's contained and when it isn't. Yeah.
And you have a different mother and different parents.
Yes.
Whatever label that. And what is that like, re-exploring those relationships?
I mean, those roles create such an intimacy. Like I was very close with the people that played them on tour, and now I'm very close with Jackie and Rob and Maggie. You know, this show has a really special way of bringing people together, because it's such sensitive material that if you're open and your heart is open to the people around you, you're gonna make some strong connections, because it's just, you're looking to people's eyes while saying this really tough stuff, and you learn about each other by just doing that, you know.
Has there been a moment where, because it is so, you have to be, or you appear to be open to an astonishing degree when you're doing this part and you're in this moment, have you ever had a moment where it has just scared you?
No, and the reason is because I don't allow myself to feel things a lot in my regular life, and so when I get on stage, for me, it's a catharsis of being able to finally find an outlet for all of those negative emotions, because I don't like expressing myself negatively to other people, because I don't like making other people feel bad, and I don't like forcing my negative emotions on people, and that's not necessarily healthy either.
I like that sidebar. In case you're watching at home, that's not healthy either.
Not healthy.
If you're taking notes.
Yeah. But what is healthy is it's a really healthy creative outlet for me. And those moments where I'm able to express like anger and sadness and stuff like that is really it's healthy sadness for me, because I'm able to express it in a way where it's not my sadness, it's someone else's, but yet some of me still leaks out in it. So it's never felt bad. It's always felt like a relief. I literally, every time I get to that orchard scene at the end, it just feels like a weight has lifted off of myself.
Well, in the rehearsal process, in the room, every time I observed you, you look like you were having the time of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it was this incredible dichotomy of like, and then he'd be like, "Hey," everyone's like, "Hey, what are we doing?" And it was really beautiful, and I could tell the company was so inspired by that.
Yeah, I just love what I do, and I don't think there's any time to feel burdened. You know, I mean, it's such a sad. It's not. It's a funny show. It's a uplifting show, but there are sad moments, and if you get lost in that, everyone gets lost in it, and that's not what it's about. It's not about being depressed, and it's not about being sad. It's about finding hope and connection and moving on and forgiving, and there's so many positive things that it's about, and I don't like getting lost in all of the negative sauce.
One of the things I really love about our production, and it's fair to say in comparison to the original, not in a negative sense, because we're the first, right? So all right, here we go. First of all, the design you're not going to believe.
It's crazy.
The power and spareness of some of the elements of the design, but because of our beautiful trees and the open air, the story breathes in a very interesting way, and you're allowed a sense of perspective on it, where in the original production you were just sort of there.
Yeah.
And this, it's been interesting because, you know, I'm not going to say the show was controversial, but Evan is a challenging character. And what I really love about what you and the cast and Rob have accomplished is where with everybody, no matter what the moment or what the choices are, all of which can be, or some of which can be really heartbreaking and compelling, there's a humanity of it where, as an audience member, and that's what I've been sensing, everybody has felt lost. That is, you know, it was funny after the opening night, it was like the audience was receiving it as how as all humans, no matter what, on this journey we can, you know, lost, which of course we answer with "you can be found," but it's in such an awkward frame. You go, "Why not trust it?"
Exactly.
You know, but I'm just sort of intrigued, and you're young, so you have this incredible future for you. Like, following a part like this, like, what's the thing you want to do next?
You know, I don't ever plan more than a month in advance, and so I you know, things just come to me, and I'm inspired by them in the moment. I mean, I have some parts that I'd love, like dream roles. Like I love Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors. You know, I'd love to do something silly and fun like that. But I love stuff like this. I love deep stuff, and I would love to do something that's, you know, a bit of both. Like Hunchback of Notre Dame is one I really want to do. It's a bit of both. It's a bit silly, but it's also extremely deep and dark and. But it's also Disney, so you know it's a weird.
So there's a big auto da fe number.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
What has surprised you about your experience at the Muny?
Just how smooth everything is. You know, like I feel like everywhere I've worked, there's always some sort of thing that's not like communicated. There's things that are being like jumped over, hoops that are being avoided, you know. But here, everything is meticulously planned because you guys plan so far in advance and you are so specific about everything that there's no room for miscommunication. Everything, and any miscommunication is immediately resolved. And so it's been really a seamless experience for me to just be able to play and in this actor's playground, you know.
Well, that is really beautiful to hear. Thank you. And it is actually the goal.
Yeah.
Because you'd be surprised for so many artists as they travel to regional theaters, how much they have to figure out on their own.
Yeah.
Is not, and I don't mean that disparagingly, but it's just sort of the culture and resources and whatever it is. And the goal here is because the 12 days thing is fast, right? So you have to be freed from everything else.
Yeah. So
you can just do what you can do. And you usually see people about day 5, they're all like, we're doing this. Like, literally, I mean, today, they're 3 days into rehearsal. They ran the first act of Lacage.
For Lacage?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Like,
that's insane.
But when it's sort of this, you know, you sort of this group endeavor of like everybody do it.
Wow.
So I'm really thrilled to hear that. What has it been like for you on stage with an audience of this? Because you're in the sunlight when you appear, and you're like, hi, and there's 10,000.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, I get up from the pit where I see no one, and then I just see 11,000 people staring right at me, and I have to do this like minute and a half monologue, and it's super fun and exhilarating. But yeah, there are moments where I'm like, do I know the lines? And I'm like, I've been doing this for 8 months. But yeah, it's crazy, but it's really exciting. I think it settles in as it gets in, but about like 10 minutes in, I'm like, all right, I got this. It's cool. We're good. After I get through waving through a window, I'm good. We're good. The show's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But let's get past that number.
And maybe this is, but in the first two before, have you noticed any different reactions to moments in the show that you knew, that you expected or were sort of ordinary on the tour?
Yeah, I think there's weirdly enough, I think people are able to have more of a personal experience because it's so big. And when you're in a theater setting like that, it feels really intimate, which is good in some ways because jokes land faster and stuff like that. However, I think there's a feeling of you can't have a unique experience because there are people there's a small group of people in that theater with you that are experiencing what you're experiencing. But when you have the anonymity of, is that a word? Anonymity?
Yeah,
something like that.
That counts.
Of 11,000 people, I feel like you're able to feel it more. At least I feel like I would be able to. So I think, I don't know. I think I feel that people are able to have a more personal experience.
I mean, obviously a big idea of the show, we were chatting a little bit beforehand, is the impact of social media.
Yeah.
And it being live. And what is your relationship to social media and how do you manage it?
Yeah, I have a tough time with that because to me, when I post I don't want to post on social media. And so if I do post, usually it feels inauthentic to me because I just don't want to, but I feel like I have to because as an actor, that's like how a lot of actors do stuff now. And now I've started to accept that, you know what, I don't need to. I can post whenever I feel like it, but I'm not going to force it because I need to be true to myself. And if I'm putting a self out there that's not authentic to me, then that's not my goal. That's not my goal in life. And that's not what social media should be for. It's for expressing yourself in a healthy way. It's not to put out an image of yourself. It's not to pose. For me, it's a tool to stay in communication with people, and you should only post when you feel like you have something to communicate, you know?
And how do you feel like when, fans approach or stage door and they want to take a selfie with you?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, totally fine. That's totally fine with me. I mean, I don't know why they're taking a picture with me. I'm like, I'm just a guy, but, I'm like, this is, where are you putting this? But there are some people that were just like, take pictures of me, like not even with like them. And I'm like, I don't know what you're going to do with that picture. They're like, I saw him. Like, but
those are the big questions. What does it prove? Is it, I was there? Anyway, that's a whole.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
We have time for, I'm sorry, I've been talking about, we have time for one question. Does anyone have anything they'd like to ask?
I have a question.
What is it?
What was your favorite show when you were like a kid to watch, or if you were like?
Oh, I really loved Beauty and the Beast. It's because it was my first show, and I loved it. I still love it. I think it's a great story. I think it's such a well-crafted musical, and it's like for everybody.
Yeah. It's never quite gotten the credit for how well written as a musical it is.
Yes.
It was interesting. I'm really proud of our production of Frozen. It turned out beautifully.
Yeah.
But in terms of an adaptation, it's not as well crafted for the stage as Beauty and the Beast
is just so seamless.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And there's stage magic. There's just amazing themes. It's a great show. And then the lyrics it's Howard Ashman, right? Who did it. And he's amazing.
Yeah, this is a great documentary on him if you can find it. I think it's on the Disney Channel.
Probably.
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
Great. Thank you for giving us this time.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're in quick treat.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to let you go get ready.
Okay.
And Michael so kindly signed a program for everyone here that we will